Computer. Hi, welcome to the overview from Dave and I on the Q1 OKRs for the people group and how we're going to achieve them. We look forward to your questions, comments, thoughts during the live session. The first one I'm going to talk about is the number 4 on the screen, which is around how we're going to ensure we're driving a culture and environment where our team members can reach their full potential in their career aspirations. They feel valued and they feel that they can be their true self in the work environment. And the OKRs that we've looked at to work through these are focused on how we're going to give the manager the skill set and the tools required to be able to drive that environment. Also focusing on training, and we've done some diversity and inclusion training in Q4. We focused on inclusion and ally training. And in Q1, we're really going to focus on unconscious bias and making sure that we're driving that throughout the organisation. We'll also roll out a number of L&D live learnings also, along with some certification modules by the end of the quarter that will be focused on the values and the training modules. One thing we do need to do is make sure that we're striking the right balance. We don't want to overload our team members or our managers. We want to have the right balance between the tools and the trainings and leverage our people partners as well to help cement those learnings and digest, have our managers digest the tools in a positive and proactive way. We do have some dependencies from other groups. We obviously need people to turn up for the training. We need our managers to embrace the tools that we're providing for them. And we also need to hire an L&D partner. We do have a number of strong candidates towards the end of the process for that, but it's still open. The second one you'll see is number 5 around having our team members understand the value of their overall compensation, which includes benefits and perks. And what we're going to focus on this quarter in relation to that is helping distill what the compensation philosophy is for our team members. It's all on the handbook, as we know, but we want to make this provided in a way that everybody can understand and really walk away with the salient points around the compensation philosophy. And any materials that we produce for this, of course, will be available to the wider community. The other piece is looking at, as we set up entities and as we convert some team members from contractor to PEOs, that we are looking at standardized as much as possible benefits available to our team members in those areas. We do have some challenges in terms of the turnaround, either from the PEOs or how to get entities set up or local vendors for these benefits that we want to provide. That's something that we'll keep an eye on and make sure that in each of the issues that we are advising any delays there. We'll also be leveraging our L&D team and our people partners around the training in these areas. So the third one before I hand over to Dave is how we are going to continuously improve our onboarding. As we know, we've grown hugely in the last year. We're continuing to grow in 2020, and the onboarding has greatly improved. However, it still does feel somewhat overwhelming for some people, and we need to look at how we can address that. To that end, we're increasing from 4 achievement score to 4.4. And with that, also looking at the buddy program. So some of the feedback we get is from our team members is some get a really good onboarding experience from the buddy program, others don't. So we want to focus in on that and help drive the right actions, behaviours from the buddies to help increase the experience that our team members have. The other part is that given we have changed the structure of the overall people group into the experienced team and the specialist team, we need to ensure that the team members are fully trained, they understand what they need to do, they understand how to be successful and understand how to drive the values in the organisation. So that's a key result that we're keeping for this quarter. Some of the challenges are around the ramping of the team. So we've had quite a lot of new roles that we're hiring. We have a number of great candidates that are due to start soon, and then we have other roles that we're trying to fill, and we have good pipe for those. So once those positions come in on board, having the team members ramped is going to be key for us to being able to achieve these KRs for improving the onboarding piece. So with that, I will hand over to Dave to discuss the recruiting OKRs.
Thank you, Carol. Under 7, we are affecting a strategic shift at GitLab to move from processing inbound applications at scale to having a greater percentage of our hires come from outbound recruitment efforts by our sourcing team, recruiting team, candidate experience team, the whole recruiting department. We set a new record in December of 2019 of 15.38% of the hires that we made during that month coming from that outbound effort by the entire recruiting department. And to capitalize on that momentum, I'm super proud of the team for putting that number up on the scoreboard. We're going to raise the bar for Q1 and set for ourselves what we see as a very aggressive OKR of 20+% of all hires during Q1 coming from that outbound effort of the entire recruiting team. Second, sourcing sessions. Rather than being an optional when a search is in trouble, let's create a sourcing session to try to fortify the inbound applications pipeline with source candidates. We're going to make that a standard part of the recruiting process. We're setting the target at 90+% of all roles have a sourcing session that includes the sourcer, the recruiter, the hiring manager. And then third, diversity sourcing. We've got some great bootstrapped efforts led by Rupert Douglas on the recruiting team to focus on diversity in our sourcing. And rather than making that a once in a while type of an endeavor, we want to make it standard. So for all of those sourcing sessions that we highlighted in KR2, 100% of the time, KR3 is that we will focus on diversity at the top of the funnel, leveraging the tools in our sourcing knowledge base, leveraging, as an example, a Boolean string that our recruiting team, our sourcing team has assembled that has north of 3,000 likely to be gender diverse first names, so that if we're attempting to contact and attract top talent, we are indexing toward top talent who are likely to be diverse at the top of the funnel, and with our pass-through rates, that should translate to every stage of our recruitment process. A couple of the dependencies, we need support from our hiring teams. We want the hiring managers involved in sourcing. Recruiting is about a team effort and about a culture of everybody is sourcing and thinking about their networks and generating referrals. And then also lighting up at GitLab the brand ambassador network, talent brand ambassador network that Betsy Church is helping us to drive and helping to ensure that there's positive messages about GitLab's culture and environment and receptivity to be a great place to work for diverse talent at the same time that our outbound messages are going into the market from our sourcing team to attempt to attract those same populations to come be a part of our company. So we expect to see that come together as a very intense sourcing effort by the entire company during Q1. The OKR 8 is all about the Q1 hiring plan and in aggregate ensuring that we are driving aggressively. It's going to be a front-loaded year. Q1 is going to be the most ambitious part of the year. So we set as KR2 the goal of accomplishing 90+% of the Q1 hiring plan, which we think is very bold and aggressive, given there are 3 days left until the quarter starts and we still don't have the final complete plan. We have a good directional sense of where we're heading, but we're not going to have the kind of advance notice that we'd ideally like to have begun sourcing on all the roles in advance. So 90+% we think is aggressive to overall achievement. And then a few of the areas we want to focus on as we drive that 90+% is one, under KR1, the location factor. We have an opportunity with the location factor at the company having crept up to, with recruiting being the tip of the spear, to bring that back down. And we're going to set the target that in Q1 of FY 2021, 0.65 or less as an average location factor for all the hires we make across GitLab in the quarter. That'll make a real impact on the overall mix of location factor at the company and be an opportunity for us to expand our geographic diversity as well. And then under KR3, in order to come out of the gate strong and achieve 90+% of a very aggressive and front-loaded hiring plan, we're going to need to operate with speed. So the target that we're setting is that the average apply to offer accept during Q1 would be 40 days or less for any role below director at GitLab. Some of the dependencies here are we're going to need hiring managers to be very open to the idea of looking at candidates from across the globe in those countries where we're eligible to hire and bringing people onto their teams that are representative of that geographic diversity. And then also we're going to fortify our team. We're looking at a contract recruiter resource that we might bring on to help fortify the go-to-market and sales recruiting efforts that we're driving to make sure that we have the capacity to deliver on a very front-loaded plan this quarter. Thank you for taking the time to listen to this recording, and we look forward to your questions on the live stream tomorrow. Cheers.